Lesson 6.7, Using Algebra. Today we are going to do word problems, but we are going to use algebra to solve each one. These are the steps that you will need to use in order to set up your equations. Please pause the video and copy down all of the steps so that you have it in your notes. So step number 1 is represent any unknown quantity with a variable. You may pick whichever letter you would like, but make sure you're consistent with the letter that you pick. Number 2, when necessary, represent other conditions in the problem in terms of the same variable. So if there is more than one thing that you are looking for, make sure that you use the same letter every single time. Number 3, identify two equal quantities in the problem. It is the only way to set up an equation is to have two equal quantities. And number 4, write and solve an equation. Okay, here is the first problem that we are going to solve today. I would like you to please pause the video and copy it down, and then I will read it and we will go over it. Okay, Coach Mahoney ran 6 times as far as he swam and cycled 30 times as far as he swam. If he covered a total of 37 miles in the triathlon, how far did he swim? Now remember, the first thing we need to do is figure out what the unknown quantity is that we are trying to solve for. So go back and look in the problem and find out what they're asking us to find. And you can see here, they're asking us to find out how far he swam. So what we're going to do is identify our variable. We can say let x equal how far he swam. Now, as you continue going through this problem, you'll also notice there are other things that he did. He did not just swim. If we go back up to the first sentence, you can tell in the first sentence it says that he ran 6 times as far as he swam. Well, we want to represent the running using the same variable. So we're going to write let, and it's going to have an x in it. But it says 6 times as far as x. So 6 times as far as x is 6x, and that would equal how far he ran. Now, you should also be able to figure out how far he cycled. Let's go to the next part of the sentence and look at what it says. It says he cycled 30 times as far as he swam. Well, it's 30 times as far as x. So that would be let 30x equal how far he cycled. All right, now we are ready to set up our equation. In the next part of the problem, it tells you that he covered a total of 37 miles in the triathlon. Well, how do we get a total of swimming, running, and cycling? We get that by adding them together. So we have x plus 6x plus 30x equals 37. And now you can solve the problem. If you combine your like terms, remember in front of the x there is no 1 there, but it means that there's a 1 that's understood. So now if we add them all together, 1x plus 6x plus 30x is 37x, which equals a total of 37. If you divide both sides by 37, you end up with x equals 1. So he swam 1 mile. Well, how far did he run? Well, he ran 6x, so it's 6 times 1, which is 6. And how far did he cycle? He cycled 30x, which is 30 times 1, which is 30. Notice we asked for 3 things in the legend, so there were 3 different things that we found for our answer. So we had x equals 1, 6x equals 6, and 30x equals 30. Okay, here's question number 2. Again, stop the video, please, and copy down the problem. It says, a carpenter is nailing baseboard molding along a wall that is 88 inches long. He has nailed in place a piece of molding that is 32 5/8 inches long. What length of molding does he need to finish the job? Again, first thing, identify what we're looking for. What we're looking for is what length of molding does he need to finish the job? So again, we can use x, we can use n. In this case, we'll use n. Let n equal length of molding to finish the job. All right. Now, when we set up our equation, we usually start with our variable. So let's start with n. Okay. It told us that he wants a total of 88 inches along the wall. We need a piece that is n inches long. Well, how big is the piece that he already has? Well, the piece that's already there is 32 5/8 inches long. So what we can do is add the two pieces together to get the total. So it's n plus 32 5/8 equals 88 inches. Now that you have your equation, you're ready to solve the problem. Okay, since it's an addition problem, subtract 32 5/8 from both sides. And you can see here, this cancels. You end up with n equals. Here, I have nothing above the 5/8. So I need to put something there in order to be able to subtract. So what we're going to do is cross out the 88 and borrow 1. So that will make it 87. And then we have 8 over 8. Remember, you always use whatever the denominator is that you have in your problem to determine what this fraction should be. So now we can continue and do our subtraction. 8 minus 5 is 3/8, and 87 minus 32 is 55. So the answer is 55 3/8 inches. Okay, that concludes our video for today. I hope you understood what we're doing. We'll continue working with these in class tomorrow. Have a great night.